This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 282 of the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'm your host, Nate. This is my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And we are back with a guest this week. We have another guest for this episode. You heard him on our last episode. Please, Mr. J, introduce yourself to the people once again.
Hi, you got me here, Jay Manley.
And if you don't know who Jay is, he's one of our longtime patrons, someone who has been watching the podcast since day one. You can catch him on our live streams over on YouTube sometimes. So he is a friend of the show. This is his second time hosting. He did an episode with us for Sicario way back when. Third time, I should say. So he's back for some Starship Troopers now. That's the movie we're doing, 1997, Paul Verhoeven, which I don't think we've done a Paul Verhoeven film yet. We haven't done RoboCop yet. I know that.
No,
it's on the list, but we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So
and we didn't do Showgirls.
We didn't do Showgirls. That's an action. Basic Instinct. We didn't do that one.
That's Robert's favorite
No,
movie.
we did Total Recall. Okay, so this is our second.
Yes, we did.
This is our second Paul Verhoeven movie. 1997 now. Alex, before we get into the scores and the box office, when's the last time you saw this movie? It's 25 years old now. 26.
I haven't seen this until the 4K came out.
Okay.
The 25-year anniversary 4K. Not the Steelbook.
So
the
last year.
Yeah, I think last year. But the last time, like, when I saw it was there, but when I first saw it is when it came out on, was it Blu-ray? I think it was Blu-ray or DVD. One of those two. But I didn't see this in the theater.
Yeah.
Cool fun fact.
Yes,
though.
tell us.
There's an actor, and I don't know if you did this on purpose. There was an actor that was in X-Men First Class.
I noticed this.
And
Michael Ironside.
He's a star. Yeah, Michael Ironside. Yeah,
It was an accident, bro. I think this has happened a few times.
I was like, did he really put Michael Ironside on?
Bro, this was, well, he had such a small role in for it. He was like a boat guy.
Yeah, it was the captain.
So this was the unofficial Michael Ironside double feature.
It was.
Who knew? Jay, when's the last time you saw this movie? I know you said you watch it a lot.
Geez, I watched this last year as soon as I got the 4K media.
Okay. So 1 year since you've watched it.
Yes.
All right, I didn't see this in the theater either because I was 10, so I wasn't allowed to watch movies like this in the theater yet. My grandma didn't take me. And if she didn't take me, I wasn't watching R-rated movies. So I never saw it in the theater. The funny thing is, I actually have never, everybody don't come at me. Relax already. I've never seen this movie start to finish until this, to do for this podcast. I have seen this movie in bits and pieces like 40 times on like Sci-Fi Channel and USA and TNT. So there's scenes in this movie, like individual scenes that I've seen like 30 times. But like start to finish, not on TV. This is my first time. So this is kind of like a first time watch, but not really. I still knew a lot of the parts. Although there was a few parts I was like, I've never seen this. So I guess.
Did you see the director's cut?
I don't know. I watched whatever's on the 4K. Just a regular. Okay. I think I just a regular one. I don't know.
I'll say this: it's one of those movies that before there was a streaming platform, I have cable, and I've had cable majority of my life, and it's one of those movies when it was on HBO or Cinemax or Stars. Anytime it was on, it would stop my tracks, and I would watch it just like you. And that's how I first was introduced to the movie myself. But it's become a cult classic. So
yeah, that's same as me, except I would only watch it in 15-minute increments. So like I didn't watch the whole thing, or I would just see the end or just the middle or just the beginning. So Alex, before I give the scores, do you have some box office totals for this film?
Yep. Budget is $105 million.
Okay.
Wow.
Worldwide total of $121 million. So this movie was pretty much like a cult classic because it must have picked up big steam for that to come out in 4K.
Well,
especially this type of movie.
I think this movie did crazy in home video.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. And Jay is right. Yeah. Because that's like, I maybe it probably didn't lose tons of money, but there's like 5 of these movies. There's like a bunch of sequels that are like straight to video. And that only happens when something does really good on video. So I'm guessing overall this made money because it's been released in 4K twice, plus in a steelbook, plus there's 5 of them. So I think you're right. As far as reviews, the reviews are actually decent. This has a 71% critic score and a 70% audience score. So it's fresh on both. Like not bad numbers. Anything surprising there? You think it would be higher, lower?
No, I think it's pretty much fine.
Yeah.
in terms
Especially
of this
for
type
Paul
of
Verhoeven. He
Right.
doesn't get
He's
horrible
weird.
reviews.
Yeah, he's weird.
I was reading the reason why this movie got flopped at the box offices was because it was when the critics panned it because they felt like it promoted fascism when it first came out, released in the movie theater. But
I think that's right. I think
but
I remember hearing something about that.
It picked up mainstream and home videos and everything, as you were first saying.
So let's go ahead and let's get into some stuff now. First off, you already know the drill. We're going to start with the lead character. In this case, Johnny Rico, played by Casper Van Dien. Now, I got some stuff to say about this guy, and maybe you guys do too. Alex, you get to go first. What did you think of my man, Johnny Rico?
Johnny Rico, I gave him a 4.
Okay.
He's like a typical, he is a straight to DVD character.
Seriously.
Seriously, like this dude is like he looked like a action figure type character. Like, look, he was fun, right? Mad over the top acting. I mean, he's the worst actor I think I've seen on this damn thing, but it was perfect for this type of movie.
Yeah.
He was badass. He played what the
Weird
hell type of
indoor
football? Indoor football. Then he did some backflips to go into the touchdown. Like, this shit was getting so over the top. But he opened up the bugs. He dissected them, right? Like, and then he shot Ironhide. Like, so Michael Ironside, whatever his name is.
Ironside, yeah.
So I thought I thought the character was actually really fun. Like, he's a 90s character for this type of cult classic movie. Like, I mean, I'm not telling you that he's like Van Damme style, but
He's Van Dien
he's
style.
actually really, he's really.
This is Junior
I thought
Van Dien.
Yeah, Van Dien. I thought he was really good in this, so I gave him a 4. I thought he was great.
All right, Jay, what do you got?
I'm going to agree with Alex on that. I gave him 4 as well. One of the drawbacks was that he was always pining after the same woman throughout portion of that movie, and every time she was flirting with the other guy, it distracted him and so forth. But yeah,
4.
everything Alex said. Towards the third act, he showed towards the second act, he showed strong leadership and everything. Great character, but nothing more than a DVD actor, like Alex said.
That's the part. Everything you guys said, that's the part I agree with most. With my man Alex, this guy is. So our podcast is called the Action Movie Guys Podcast, and this guy would be described as Action Movie Guy. He could have been had no name. He could have been Guy, Action Guy, and that would be him. Because of that, I gave him a 3. I'm only 1 point lower. I'm not like way lower. I just think he's so there's no characterization to him other than he's a jock. And he wants to be a citizen, so he joins the military. He's mad at my parents. I'm doing what I want, parents. I'm going to go to the military. And they're like, Johnny, we're going to go on a cruise. Isn't that fun? He's like, not me. I'm going to the military, Mom. And then he goes, and, he has some troubles. And then he gets that guy shot in the head, which was hilarious, by the way. And then he's like, I can't do this anymore. I got to go home. I don't got what it takes. And then he does got what it takes. And it's like, this is like 101. That's why I agree with Alex. 100%. This is an Action Guy 101. So I just gave him a 3. Like, I just don't think there's anything there. I think I also agree with you. He's the worst actor, which is saying something because Denise Richards is in this movie and he's worse than her, in my opinion. So,
well, it's funny. I didn't want to cut you off, but doesn't this movie feel like an 80s movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
150%. Yes. This was made
like
in the wrong decade. This should have came out in 1987, but it came out in 1997. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it had 80s movie. It had it's similar to RoboCop. Tonally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like kind of funny. Especially with all the little inserts, with all the ads and all that kind of stuff, and like the propaganda stuff, and then it's also like really gory. It is like RoboCop
So
with
do you want more?
Yeah. Do you want more?
What was the psychic one? There was one with the psychic.
Yeah, there's one about psychics. There's one about joining the military. There's just all kinds. So I gave him a 3.
Step on bugs. The kid stepping on bugs.
I love that part. Do your part.
Doing your part.
Do your part at home. He does have the square jaw, so he looks the part, but he's a horrendous actor, kind of. So a 3. I think he's not like the performance would be a 1, but the character, I'll give him a 3. So 3, 4, 4. Yeah. All right, main villains in this case is bugs. So similar to Cowboys and Aliens, it's an alien race. Yeah. Jay, you get to go first. What did you think of the bugs?
I'm going to grimace on that for a second because I was struggling with this on who the villains were. Because in this point,
the bugs.
Are really the bugs the humans, or were the bugs the villains, or were the humans the villains? Because if you think about it, the humans were invading the bugs' homes.
Right, but you got to look at it in a way of, in terms of the villain of the film.
The way the story is told, we are following the human characters.
Okay.
So whether you think they are bad for invading, they also were saying that the bugs sent a meteor at them and all this. They think they're doing revenge.
Okay.
So in the context of what they're telling us, you're right. You could watch it that way, but we're going to score the bugs. Because we just scored the main hero as Van Dien, not the roach.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the bugs. If you're going to say it that way, I'm going to give the villains a 5. If you look at how those bugs were they were annihilated. If the first in the first act, when they go to that planet, those bugs were kicking ass, man. They were just annihilating those humans left and right, and they fall back and they couldn't do nothing. So definite 5 right there.
Nice. All right, Alex.
Yeah, I agree with Jay. This is a 5. I love the bugs. Look, one thing that Paul von Hagendogs did that was pretty good.
Paul von Hagendogs.
Yeah, Paul von Hagendogs did. That was actually really cool. Was that he made these CGI bugs really cool, and he used practical, like he used 80s style of filmmaking, and I kind of liked it a lot. And I don't think, to think of outside the box, like any other movie that was like this, I can't think of another that's like this, right? Like they shot this way. I mean, these bugs look like the same bugs from Cloverfield, didn't it?
Like the little ones that fall off?
Yeah.
The similar, they had that long, mouth.
Yeah. I think the bugs, James was right. The bugs infiltrated. They came in droves. They came in thousands of them. Then they had the big, ugly brain one that looked kind of nasty. I like that. I like the little bug ones that you could squash. You know what? I think Paul did a great job as a director. He pulled an impossible task, and he did a hell of a job because that thing looked actually really cool. So I gave it a 5, and I think they were ruthless and everything.
Yeah. To compare to our last film, Cowboys and Aliens, where one of my problems was like they don't talk really. They're just like monsters, right? But to me, like this is the way better version of that. These freaking first of all, there's a million of them. There's like just nonstop. They look cool as hell. You're right. These effects hold up. This movie's 26 years old, and I'm watching it in 4K, and I'm like, usually in 4K, older movies with CG, sometimes that CG does not look great. This looked really good. I was like, dang. I mean, 1 or 2 was a little bit, but for the most part, they look great. And then you got the big bad beetle bug that comes out of the floor that has like a flamethrower on its head. Sick. I love that thing. The nasty brain one. Okay. I hate that thing. It looks so disgusting. It looks like it has a big like vagina in its face, and then a stick comes out of it and it like sucks your brain out. Like I absolutely hate it. I know they did that on purpose, and I hate it, but it's cool. It like literally sticks it in the brain and sucks your brain out of your head. So these things were killers. They were ruthless. They were awesome. Whether they were invaded or not, they murdered a lot of people in this movie, and we have to be the citizens in this case. So they were the villains, but I agree with both of you. I gave them a 5. This is a formidable, and they use tactics. They think the bugs are dumb, but the bugs are actually using tactics. So that makes them actually good. I like them. All right, action scenes, Alex.
Oh, a 5. This movie got action up the ass. You know what? This movie's long as hell. I don't care what anyone tells me. This movie's freaking long.
It's like 2 hours plus.
It's mad long. It didn't need to be this long. No. But my man Paul knows how to shoot some action. Because this thing has action upon action. I mean, the bugs getting killed. Loved it. Arena football, loved it. I thought it was corny, but you know what? That was pretty cool. The ending sequence was actually pretty cool with the nuke. I thought that was pretty cool. The plane scenes in outer space was actually really fun. The fight in that little, Total Recall area where they were like doing tattoos and everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Like, honestly, he did a hell of a job, man, with the budget that he had. To think out the box like he did, I'm telling you, Paul actually did a great job, man. I give it a 5. I think it was really good.
Right on. Okay, Jay, what do you got? Action.
5. I loved every minute of the action in this movie. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I'm watching the part where they're training And I'm like, you know what I want to do? I want to call up Alex. I want to call up Nate. I want to call up Rob. I want to call up Scott. I want to go do some laser tag.
Oh no, not with live ammo.
No, not with the live ammo, but with the electrical zap thing. I want to do that.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat, but not
that
with live ammo.
That would be fun to do that. That electrical shot laser tag. We're just doing the zap thing. Come on, tell me you wouldn't want to do that.
I don't know. I think I would lose with Rob because he knows how to shoot.
That's true.
I don't. I'm small. I could hide.
But I mean, the action in this movie was just mad nuts. I mean, especially where they're trying to hold the fort down and those bugs are just coming out of nowhere, and I'm just like, So it was a fun. I mean, I had fun with this movie. For the runtime, you're right. It was a little long, but it didn't leave me bored at all. I didn't have any time being bored at this movie just because the action kept me entertained.
Okay, so a 5 and a 5. Well, let me tell you, boys. Let's make it a trifecta because I also gave it a 5.
A trifecta.
Listen, first of all, automatic bonus points. If you've listened to any of our other 281 episodes, you know, if you're giving me some R-rated blood and guts, I'm there in an action movie. It doesn't always have to be for horror, you know? Give me these bugs picking up these dudes and chomping them in half. And you see the two halves fly. Give me that. Give me the brain bug that sucks it literally out of the guy's head, and he's like, ooh, and his face is all turning off. I love it. I want to see all this stuff. I want to see Michael Ironside get his legs just eaten off or whatever happened under that sand. This is like a war movie, just a regular like a World War II movie, except one of the sides is bugs. And I love it. Yeah. There's tons of guns. There's like rocket launchers, nukes. There's bugs that shoot giant lasers out of their ass into the space, and it blue laser bug.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's flame head bugs. I love it. All of it. I was there for all the action scenes. I too gave it a 5 out of 5. Okay, storyline now, Jay. I know this is probably a part you're chomping at the bit for. I'll let you go first. What did you think of the storyline? Okay,
this storyline is, of course, we all know, obviously, this is a political satire. I mean, it was heavily pointed out. Of course, it had colonialism, militarism, patriotism, and fascism in it. I just wanted to point that out. And Horsey had to be a citizenship in order to have the right to vote and have all these rights for civilians. Civilians had no rights at all for anything. And I love that. I mean, you see that obviously, like, it had the fascism. It's like you could tell by the way they dressed in the military style. Like when you see Neil Patrick Harris's character come out, he looked like almost like a Nazi, almost like outfit. And, you know, they're just kind of satires. And this actually is based off a book written in 1959, written during the Cold War. So, and I would like to read the book, but I haven't had opportunity to. People say that the book is much better than the movie, but
don't they always?
But of course, I digress. The movie, the storyline is actually pretty great. I like the storyline, so I gave it a 4.
A 4. All right, Alex, what do you got?
Storyline, to bring it down nuts. Like, for me, I wasn't too crazy with the storyline. It's very 90s like storyline, but like I said, it was entertaining enough. I gave it a 3. I thought it was good, but I forgot to say, this movie's very rated R. I mean, the blood, the body parts. I mean, even when they walk into the facility, it felt like an Aliens movie. Like the bodies are just there, opened and smeared, and I was like, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. Like I like it. The storyline, like I said, it was long at times. Felt kind of bored at certain parts of it. I was just like, oh my God. Whereas RoboCop, I felt like RoboCop had that perfect length of like they knew what they were doing with the story. This one, it felt like they were just stretching it out. Like, let's just throw more blood and guts and all this stuff. So like for me, I was just like, I was checking out pretty quick, but it kept bringing me back in with all the bugs and everything. Rico is cool. Denise Richards, again, this is the only good movie that I think she acted great in, because in Bond, she sucked. But this one, she actually was pretty good in this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she's an Oscar award winner. So I was just like, all right. I think, and all in all, I think it's a solid storyline. So I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I'm with you. I gave it a 3. I don't think all the satire hit for me. I think they threw a lot at the wall to see what would stick. Some did. I do think, the comp to RoboCop is fair. I think they're similar in a lot of ways, but I too agree that one is way better. And I'm not just saying like a better film. I just mean the storyline and the satirical elements of it are better and easier to follow. A lot of times I was like, they're doing too much that it's not all hitting for me. Like some of the humor worked and some didn't. Some I was just like, this is not that funny. And they keep going to this thing. They went to the well a lot of times with the little advertisements in the middle of the movie. Yeah. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Also, so this was the first time I really watched the beginning, like 20 minutes, and I did not like it. It's like a high school. They're in high school. First of all, they're in high school and they all like look like they're 25 years old. Okay. And it's a high school movie. Like they go to the dance, they're in class dissecting bugs. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I did not like the beginning of the movie at all. I think so that's to your point, Alex. I agree. I think this movie could have been 30 minutes shorter, honestly, like an hour and a half, maybe 95 minutes. Perfect. Because I think the beginning was pretty weak. So yeah, I just gave it a 3. I think it's a good overall story in there, but there's a lot of stuff that could have been cut, in my opinion, and not everything works as well as I think they hoped it would. So a 3, and a 4. All right. Overall, Alex, what did you think?
So I was tossed up with this one. I was really torn up on this because I was like, where would I fall on this in a scale? And honestly, I came up with a 3. And this is why. It is way too lengthy for this type of story. 2, I enjoyed everything about it. I think in terms of like, if you tell me this or Sharknado, I'll pick this over Sharknado any day of the week. Like these type of films. And I like Paul as a director. And I'm not saying he's horrible. I think he did some great gems in his filmography. Yeah. But I think you're right. He did some stuff that he just kept repeating. And I was just like, oh man, this is getting boring now. But in all, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was fun. It was campy. It was I can see why the cult classic and why they had 2 other sequels behind it, which I never saw and I don't think I ever will. But yeah, I think a 3 is solid. I think this is a solid film, but it looks great in 4K. It is a fantastic 4K. It looked like they shot it now, but other than that, like I gave it a 3 as a solid movie.
All right, Jay, what do you got?
I gave it a 4. This is a movie that I can watch at least once or twice a year.
I'm a 90s movie fan. I love 90s films.
Yeah.
But this doesn't feel like a 90s film to me. It looks like a 90s film and it feels like an 80s film. And I too gave it a 3. While I was watching it, so at the beginning again, I didn't really like it. I was like, the beginning of this sucks. But I know what was coming because I've seen this movie and like I said, I've seen a bunch of other parts. But I just found myself waiting for those parts to come. I think the action is great. I think that's where it's really killing it. I think the story's fine, but because of the story is where I fall on the 3. As good as the action is, as cool as the bugs are, like none of these characters are amazing. You know what I mean? Like Denise Richards, I actually like her arc pretty okay. Casper Van Dien, again, generic guy. Dina Meyer, very beautiful, but really just like loves him since they were in school and then just like constantly waiting for him to become like available and then dies. Like by the end. And then you got Neil Patrick Harris, who constantly comes in and out. I hate the ending, by the way. I actually don't like the ending, which is why that also falls into a 3 for me, because I do not like these 3 friends. It almost like all this crazy stuff happens. These people have died and they're like, hey, us 3, we're still buddies and whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, and then they're talking about what's going to happen, but it doesn't feel like it ends to me. Like we're going to keep on fighting the bugs. So there's not a really solid ending in my opinion. Yeah. Patrick Muldoon, he plays the guy who gets his brain sucked out. I hate that guy. Side note, I hate that actor because in Saved by the Bell, he played Jeff, who steals Kelly Kapowski from Zach Morris, and I always hated him for that. So I don't like Patrick Muldoon. I'm glad he got his brain sucked out, and that's all I'll say about that. I gave it a 3 as well. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a great 4K movie. I feel like there's a reason I haven't watched it until now, and while I could probably watch it again in the future, it's not something that I would like to revisit anytime soon. So a 3 for me. All right, what is your total points, Alex?
20.
And Jay?
I have a 25.
Oh, my bad.
No.
20 out of 25, Jay?
22 out of 25.
I'm a 19. I'm the low man on this one. 19 out of 25. A good film, but not my most favorite film. All right, so that wraps up this episode. What do we got next week? Well, let me tell you. Next week, me and Alex are back solo, boys, and we are going to be doing some X-Men Days of Future Past, and then we are wrapping up our sci-fi action month with a little movie called Serenity, which was, of course, the based off the TV show Firefly, which got canceled, and this was like a movie version of it. I've never seen this movie, so that's one of the reasons I picked it, because I've never seen it, and it fit the bill. And then, of course, next week, I will be giving Alex the titles of our next month so he can guess what the category is that we'll be covering from there.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird, right? Like, I saw Firefly as a TV show. Loved it. I was like, this is amazing. Then it got canceled, which I was like, this is so stupid. Yeah. But it has a big cult following.
Yeah, very.
I'll tell you that. But other than that, Jay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For joining us this week.
Great job, Mr. J.
Hope you have fun.
I did.
All right.
If I can
you guys
join
want
you
to
again?
follow? Yeah.
We'll think about it. We'll talk to our managers.
All right, guys, if you guys want to follow us in our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at Nateflix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called Nateflix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to Instagram at Geeks and Flicks or visit our official website at www.geeksandflicks.com. Other than that, he is your host,
Nate from Nateflix Reviews.
I'm his co-host, Alex Figueroa, and our special guest is
Jay Manley at jmanley84 on Instagram.
There you go. Be awesome to each other and geek out.